start open public testimony. So side conversations in a low voice and silent your electronics. The chair now calls up Tijuana Hudson, Lindy Perkins, Dr. Lavonda Loney, thank you, and James Dickey. Let's see, James Dickey, maybe he's in over. Oh, there he is. All right, thank you. Okay, so, and I don't know if the person on the end can see the light in the middle. Are the water pitchers, did they fixed it? Thank you very much. You'll have 2 minutes. Please say your name, who you represent. If you're on, for, or against the bill, you'll have 2 minutes for testimony. And who do I have?
I am Dr. Lindy Perkins.
Do you mind, let's have you go first. Dr. Lindy, I don't have doctor on here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Lindy Perkins, and I am a TPI fellow here today to provide a brief insight regarding the historical implications of school vouchers. In 1955, Milton Friedman introduced school vouchers in his essay, arguing they could create a free market education system and improve quality through competition. However, early voucher programs were marked by systemic inequities. By the late 20th century, advocates rebranded vouchers as school choice to empower families, with the first modern program launched in Milwaukee in 1990 for low-income families. School vouchers and public payments for private schoolers often come as direct payments of tax credits. Their origins are linked to efforts to maintain segregation after the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education decision, with many southern districts using vouchers to fund white-only private schools. This exclusionary practice continues today as private schools can screen applicants and often require additional fees that burden low-income families. The shift of public funds to private institutions undermines public education, which serves all students. Understanding the origins of vouchers is essential for evaluating their impact on education equity. While marketed as empowering, their legacy highlights ongoing issues of exclusion and segregation, making public schools crucial for ensuring access and equity for every child in every grade. We cannot let vouchers widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots. By amending the program with safeguards, we can ensure it lifts all students, protect public education, and serve its intended purpose. Thank you for listening on today.
Thank you, Dr. Perkins. And next to you is
Tijuana Hudson.
Thank you, Ms. Hudson. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Chairman Creighton, members of the committee. I represent the Texas Educational Policy Institute, or TPI, and I'm here in opposition of SB2, and I want to express my concerns regarding the bill. I believe that it is premature to adopt the policy as written, given the lack of robust data on the academic impacts of Education Savings Acts around the nation. 18 states have adopted ESA policies, but no state currently evaluates their programs with all 4 critical data points necessary to ensure equitable and effective outcomes. These data points, as outlined by the RAND Corporation, include things like sufficient program size, the age of the program, comparable funding, and comparable data between ESA and non-ESA students. The current bill does not address accountability standards for private institutions receiving ESA funds, such as standardized testing requirements or disaggregated performance reporting. Diverting funds from public schools without ensuring quality standards in private schools risks draining resources when we are already underfunded, given the fact that our basic allotment has not been increased since 2019. If SB2 is to move forward, please consider adding safeguards to the bill, because without them, low-income students and students of color who historically face educational inequities could be placed in low-quality private schools with no means for families to be able to make informed choices. So I've got 3 amendments to suggest. 1, mandatory state assessment participation requirements, transparent reporting of academic performance, and public audits to ensure accountability for curriculum quality and for student outcomes. ESAs may have the potential to expand educational opportunities, but we shouldn't move forward with policies that lack evaluation and accountability measures. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hudson. We're almost right on time. Thank you very much. Would you be Dr. Lavonda Lone?
I am.
Let's pronounce your name correctly for the,
My name is Dr. Lavonda Lumby. You said it correctly.
thank you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Chairman Craigman and members of the committee. I am here representing the Texas Educational Policy Institute, and I oppose the bill without amendment. As we know, the demographics of students using ESAs vary by state and program. Generally, these programs tend to benefit wealthier families and students already enrolled in private schools, many of whom have never attended a public school. These families use taxpayer money to help pay tuition costs. For example, in Arizona, families in the wealthiest 10% participate in ESA programs at 5 times the rate of those families in the poorest 10%. This raises an important question. Who are the students receiving the ESAs? Well, unfortunately, the reality is we just don't know. According to EdChoice, programs across 18 states only have 5 collect any form of demographic data, and only 3 report subgroup demographic data. To ensure transparency and accountability, ESA programs in Texas must require mandatory reporting, including annual demographic reporting on race, ethnicity, gender, disability status, socioeconomic status, programmatic participation, just as public schools do. They also need to have application versus acceptance data to show how many students apply versus how many actually are admitted and complete. They also need to have economic accessibility thresholds that reflect families closer to the poverty line, ensuring ESAs truly support median income families. So in closing, ESAs have long been part of Texas' educational options, but only primarily serve families with financial means to afford private schooling. Without proper safeguards, we risk furthering inequities rather than addressing them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lonnie. James Dickey.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, and members, I'm James Dickey. I'm here to testify on behalf of myself and Liberty for the Kids in support of the bill. Just move. They should just move. That's what the Texas Public High School coach told me online when I said that I wanted to fight for more educational freedom for the 50,000 folks who are signed up with Liberty for the Kids. Well, I have just moved. I moved when our youngest was born. We moved from 2 blocks away from Skyline High School in Dallas to Flower Mound High School. And my kids did just fine. They're all at public schools and had a great experience. And then when our youngest was in elementary school and it came time to move to the Austin area, I just moved. And we had the resources, so I moved to Lake Travis High School. And it's a great district and had a great time. And even there, at the end of 8th grade, after a year of not being able to get anything done about the bullying she was faced, my daughter came to me and said, please, please let me homeschool next year. And we did. Now, we were concerned, but we didn't know how to make sure she had a great curriculum, so we put her in UT High School, which was great and cost a few $1,000s a year, and we could. Well, I don't think it's right that we live in a state where I can do that, and that high school teacher tells me that everyone else should do that. Well, guess what? For my friends near Skyline High School, for my kids at Polytechnic High School, who I graduated from high school with in Fort Worth, they don't have those choices. And I want them to. And I want their kids to. And now that I'm a grandpa, I want them to.
Good stories, Mr. Dickey, James Dickey. Thank you so much. Members, any questions for this panel? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You all were prepared and had your message, so right on. Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much. Thank you very much.
The chair now calls up Rachel Barlow. Anita Scott, Shalenta Perez, Rebecca Renfro, so that's Rachel Barlow. I got some more. All right. So I'll have you, for the committee and for recording, you'll each state your name when it comes your time. Be at the mic, speak into the mic. Thank you so much. You'll have 2 minutes. If you do have any written literature and you want to pass it out for the committee, we just need 15 copies. And let's go. You're Miss Barlow? All right. Let's go. Thank you.
I'm Rachel Barlow, the proud parent of a 14-year-old named Ace and a 10-year-old named Stevie. These are 2 wonderful neurodivergent children who needed accommodation to reach their full potential. Their ACE scholarships have enabled them to get that accommodation in spades at the Vine School in Victoria, Texas, and it's had a profound impact on my family. Imagine with me you are 10 years old, waking up in your bedroom, your eyes open, your mother reminds you to start getting ready. You start to cry, begging not to go because you know what's coming. Your classmates tease you about your struggle to read, and your teachers are irritated with having to stop to help you understand the assignments. This is what my daughter faced in public school every day. My daughter has dyslexia, dysgraphia, and ADHD, and even though we wanted to get her tested right away, we faced opposition at public school to do so, and we paid for it at our own expense. We chose to move her to the Vine School in the midst of her 2nd grade because the gap between her being able to read and her peers was significant. We made the same choice to move my son Ace because he has autism and his needs were not being met in the public school either. We paid for our schooling through ACE scholarships because we are the people that you are discussing in depth today. I urge you all to listen to the testimonies of parents and to take this matter very seriously. I am for school choice because I am representing my children and I know that I can make the best decision for them.
Thank you very much, Ms. Barlow. And next to you is
Anita Scott.
Ms. Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, please.
All right. Good afternoon, Chairman Creighton and committee members. My name is Anita Scott, and I am testifying in favor of Senate Bill 2 on behalf of the Texas Homeschool Coalition. We advocate for the interests of up to 650,000 homeschool students in Texas and have over 100,000 of those families on our Texas mailing list. My homeschool journey began in the 1980s when my parents chose to homeschool. 2 parents homeschooled 8 children in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. Eventually, my mother, a certified teacher with a bachelor's degree, not only homeschooled us, but also started homeschooling other children from families seeking an education free from the onslaught of the negative influences that our school districts offered. In fact, when I was in elementary school, a school in the southern sector of Dallas where I lived, Carter High School, made the news. The Carter Cowboys' string of successful victories in football led them to win the state championship at the Texas Stadium in 1988. The Dallas Cowboys hadn't won the Super Bowl since 1979, so Dallas was raving about the Carter High School Cowboys. Unfortunately, the Carter Victory Parade and the pomp and circumstance of the state championship ended all too soon when several of the high school players were arrested, with some of the players receiving sentences for up to 25 years of imprisonment. The reality is what happened at Carter High School during that time was not and is not representative of all the schools in the Dallas district, but this is what is true, and I've expressed this before. My neighbors often use family members' addresses to send their children to higher rated schools outside our district. In other words, they were stealing the addresses of their family members to experience choice. I've seen parents share a common concern. They want the freedom to make educational choices for their children to ensure they receive the best education possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. And just one thing for clarification, you said you've seen others using the address of the district that they want to move one child from a public school to another public school, just a different district.
Yes, ma'am.
But now there is that option. Sometimes there are burdens or hurdles to get over, but that is an option. Thank you very much. Are you Ms. Perez?
I am. I'm Dr. Shalente Perez.
Thank you, Dr. Perez. If you'd go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon, and thank you all for the opportunity to speak before you. My name is Dr. Shalente Perez. I'm one of the co-founders and director of curriculum of Texas Autism Academy. You heard my business partner, Carrie, speak earlier, and she gave a little more insight into our school. When we speak of private schools, many think that parents have a significant amount of money in order to be able to enroll their children in private school. This is not the case, especially for parents of students with autism and other disabilities. These parents work so hard to be able to enroll their children in a school that can meet their academic, social, and behavioral needs at their individual levels. As a former public school teacher, special ed teacher of 6 years, I saw firsthand the struggles educators in public school faced because of the lack of training and knowledge of meeting the needs of students with autism and other disabilities. I gained more knowledge while working on my dissertation that focused on general education teachers and the struggles they face while teaching children with autism. This is not to bash the public school system. I know a lot of amazing teachers who are public school teachers. But when you have a population of students that so greatly need a specific type of teaching method or curriculum, it can be very hard when you are not fully trained in that area. That is why we opened Texas Autism Academy. We use research-based, TEA-approved curriculum. That curriculum is taken and it is tailored to the student's individual needs. Imagine what doors would open for so many families that need tuition assistance in order to access a specialized and nationally accredited private school that is equipped with the skills, curriculum, and knowledge to meet their child's needs at their individual level. Help offset the cost of tuition for families so that they don't feel like they have to settle, because there's so much more greater opportunities out there for them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Perez. Okay, Rebecca Renfro.
My name is Rebecca Renfro, and I am a parent of a child at the Texas Autism Academy, and I'm in support of SB2. Senator Creighton and esteemed members of the committee, it is a privilege to be able to speak to you today. I'm a parent of a teenage son with autism. He was diagnosed at the age of 2, and since then, his daily life has been a steady stream of doctors, therapies, and educational interventions. As a third-generation teacher, I enrolled him in public school, trusting that supports would be in place for his educational needs. However, my faith and optimism quickly faded as I saw my son marginalized, abused, bullied, and largely ignored in the wake of a school system that was overwhelmed and ill-equipped to educate a child with an autism diagnosis. As a result of this stress, my son quit eating and had frequent meltdowns. I could tell he was not progressing in a way that would help him become a functioning member of society. In the 3rd grade, we pulled him out of public school and began homeschooling him. This was a workable solution, and my son thrived. However, I know that I was not equipped to navigate his complex needs as he neared his middle school years. We discovered Texas Autism Academy in 2018, and our lives have completely changed. Because of his experience at this private school, my son is set to graduate with a high school diploma. He plays piano and sings in the church choir. He volunteers at the local animal shelter. He is now planning a life after high school, which includes college and a career. However, I'm a single mom, and private school is expensive. My parents are spending their retirement savings to help me pay for my son's education. There are many families who do not have these resources, and their children are left to fall through the cracks. This legislation would go a long way in giving hope to families who just want their children to thrive as human beings. My son's name is Owen, and his name means gracious gift of God. Thank you for your work to help children just like him.
Thank you, Ms. Renfro. Members,
you.
are there any questions?
Quick question, Madam Chair.
Yes, Senator Bennett.
God bless them. Okay. There isn't a family probably in the state that is not affected by autism now because of the tremendous increase in the diagnosis. And so with that, I really appreciate it, because I mean, all families are experiencing this, to whether it's a cousin or whether it's a family member directly. So thank you for taking the time to come testify. Where is your Autism Academy located?
It's in Magnolia, Texas.
Okay, well, I'm sure that it's a wonderful pursuit. I'm glad that you've taken this on.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. The chair now calls up Jorge Borrego, Steve Leakey, Octavio Cifuentes. And, wait for it. Mary Helen Frazier. So, on the end, what's your name?
Steve Blakey.
Okay. And your name?
Jorge Borrego.
Thank you. Okay. Well, Mr. Borrego, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman Creighton and Senators. My name is George Borrego, and I serve as the Education Policy Director at the Texas Public Policy Foundation, and I am testifying in strong support of SB2. In my role, my work often revolves around data and statistics. While fulfilling, I am often mindful that these numbers aren't just abstract figures, but they represent the lives of millions of Texas students and the hopes that their families have for their futures. Instead of just simply presenting statistics today, I want to bring them to life by sharing the story of Anthony and Wendy Contreras, hard-working parents living on San Antonio's west side. As any San Antonio will tell you, and I believe Senator Menendez will be in agreement, that the west side is steeped in cultural pride and tradition, but it is a community that struggles with educational challenges. Consider the high school to which the Contreras family was zoned to. Only 26% of students were on grade level, and just 9 were proficient in math. Wendy and Anthony refused to let these statistics define their child's futures. They sought out a private school, and their children flourished in an environment benefiting from both high-quality curriculum and a values-based instruction. But tragedy struck when Anthony died unexpectedly. No longer able to afford tuition on a single income, Wendy made an extraordinary sacrifice. To cover the tuition, she sold her family's home and put their children's future above all else, even at great personal cost. No parent should ever have to make that decision. This is why SB2 matters. SB2 makes tremendous progress from the work done and led by the Senate last session. Let us honor Wendy and Anthony and the sacrifices of millions of, or thousands of parents here in Texas by passing SB2. Thank you, Chairman Creighton and members of the Education Committee. I'll be glad to take any questions after my colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. Borrego. And once again, I'm going to call up Mary Helen Frazier. And are you Octavio? Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Octavio Cifuentes. I am a senior at Faith Christian Academy, a proud ACE scholar, and an advocate for school choice legislation. Let me tell you why. My parents are special people. My mother is a teacher at my school, and she works very hard to support our family. One of the reasons she has to work very hard is that back in 2015, my father got a virus that severely damaged his heart. We moved to the Houston area to seek medical help because if we didn't, he would die. Now he's on the heart transplant list, and we hope he'll get a new heart soon, but for now he's unable to work, and someone from our family has to be with him to manage his care at all times. Ever since I was little, I think God made me good at math and science, and I'm grateful for that. In fact, I'm on my way to getting my associate's degree and have already taken college algebra and pre-calculus. The smaller, more personal environment at Faith Christian Academy has helped me thrive academically, socially, and spiritually. My parents taught me the importance of hard work and serving the community. My family and I work concessions and do repairs on the school building. My mother's an amazing baker, and she makes cheesecakes that we sell to local restaurants to make extra money. One of my biggest dreams is to retire my parents and give back to them for all their sacrifices for our family. An ACE scholarship made it possible for me to attend Faith Christian Academy, where I received the academic preparation and life skills I needed to pursue my dreams to become a cardiologist and give back to others. Not every kid gets that chance, but you as a leader can provide that chance to many more Texas students by passing choice legislation. Don't we want the best for Texas' future? That means giving struggling families like ours the educational freedom to choose a school that equips them to do big things like becoming a cardiologist. So we can give back to our community. Supporting school choice is a matter of the heart, and I hope you'll look deep into yours to make it happen.
Thank you, Mr. Cifuentes. How old are you?
17.
17. Well, you're inspirational. I pray blessings over your family. You have great aspirations, and not only to be cardiologist, but to give back. And that is wonderful, a blessing. Thank you. It's an honor to meet you. Mr. Leakey.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve Lakey. I'm here in favor of Senate Bill 2. I'm also representing Texas Autism Academy. First, I would like to say this has been a very enlightening committee, and I appreciate your all's public service, and I learned a lot about the bill and this whole process today, so thank you. Also want to give special thanks to Senator Brandon Creighton. I've been working with him and his office for how many years, Senator, on